and today we're going through a 2012 comedy drama movie called 1,000 Words. The film opens with Jack McCall getting dressed to go to work and his wife named Caroline also taking care of their baby. He seems to be in a hurry to get to work as he is rushing. On getting to work, his assistant named Aaron asks him if he had read the book that he was supposed to read over the weekend. He tells him that he has and that the way to read a book is to read the first 5 and the last 5 pages, saying he will understand what the book is about that way. This leaves his assistant in shock. Then, Jack asks his assistant if the conference room has been set and he gives him a positive reply. At the conference, he briefs his audience about someone named Dr. Sinja who is a religious leader. Jack is to meet up with Dr. Sinja to review his book. Jack is asked by the conference participants if Dr. Sinja would give him an audience just because he knows about him, and he tells them not to worry about it because he's good at that and he will make Dr. Sinja sign with the company. The next scene shows where Jack attends Dr. Sinja's meditation class where he puts up a fake show to get Dr. Sinja's attention. He acts as if he is caught up with the meditation and that he sees a vision of a blue pearl. They then take him inside where he is finally able to have a one-on-one audience with Dr. Sinja. Without wasting much time, Dr. Sinja, who already knows he was putting up an act, asks Jack the reason for his visit. So Jack goes straight to the point and tells him he has read his books and that he will want to also publish it to the world for people to see. Dr. Sinja replies that he's not interested in that, but Jack tries to persuade him. Dr. Sinja then asks him what his deal is and he tells him he is just happy about the fact that he's able to help him publish that book to the world, and also 10% of the income is what he wants. After much persuasion, Dr. Sinja agrees to allow Jack to publish the book with the warning that he's going to do it the way he wants it to be done. Jack calls his assistant on his way back to brag to him about the achievement, and he also tells him he will have the rest of the day off to go and visit his mother for her birthday. On getting to the birthday of his mom, Jack's mom keeps mistaking him for his dad, Raymond, due to a slight ailment that she has. She later comes to her senses and Jack greets her a happy birthday. The next scene shows Jack and Caroline arguing about staying in the house they got. His wife wants them to move out, but Jack wants them to stay. While the discussion continues, a mysterious tree suddenly grows out in their compound and stands tall. After wondering where the tree came from without any conclusion, Jack decides to keep it. On getting to work the next day, Jack's assistant informs him that Dr. Sinja has sent his book. When Jack asks about it, he tells him the book is 5 pages long. Jack, who is in shock, decides to visit Dr. Sinja and ask him about why it's just 5 pages. Dr. Sinja tells him that that is the book and not just a dedication as he thinks, and Jack, who thinks Dr. Sinja is weird, tells him about the tree that grew in his house and asks if he's the one that sent it. They both go to his house to see the tree and Dr. Sinja tells him he's not the one that sent the tree. As Jack talks, the tree leaves are seen to fall down. A leaf falls for a word he says. Dr. Sinja notices this and tells him about it, telling him the fact that he and the tree are now one and that the leaves falling down will make him get sick, and if all the leaves fall down, he's going to die. Jack, who's afraid of this, decides to get rid of the tree with an axe, but as he tries to cut the tree, his waist gets hurt too, and he finally realizes that it's true. Dr. Sinja tells him that he's going to keep asking about the tree because he's going to Bolivia and coming back in 3 days' time. Dr. Sinja advises him not to talk in those 3 days so he won't pass away. The following morning, Jack decides to communicate through papers instead of talking, but as he starts writing for Caroline, the leaf starts falling. For every word he writes, a leaf falls. This is when he knows that he cannot actually write too. Seeing that he cannot write and he cannot talk, he starts to use sign language to speak whenever he wants to speak to someone. Later on, Jack is seen using sign language to order food, but it's quite hard for him and the people he's communicating with to understand. On getting to work that morning, his assistant thinks he's not talking to him because he's mad at him for going home early the day before. So, he starts confessing what he's done and everything he's done, but he still gets no response from Jack. Jack and his assistant go to a meeting where some clients bid for Dr. Sinja's book that is to be published. As they discuss, Jack keeps mute. Meanwhile, the tree is being watered back at home, and this makes Jack start sweating and getting wet in his body. Jack's assistant screws up the deal as he doesn't know how to negotiate, nor does he have any experience, and keeps using foul words, so the dealers call the deal off. Later in the day, Jack goes to see his child in school and has fun with him. There, every father is present with their child and singing. The fathers are told to sing along, but Jack is not able to as he cannot talk, but they think it's because he does not know the lyrics. At home during the night, Caroline tries to discuss with Jack about their son, but Jack keeps using sign language and this pisses her off till she goes into her room angrily. Jack goes out and puts a call through to Dr. Sinja to ask him about the update concerning the tree. Dr. Sinja tells him nothing but assures him that he's going to come the next day. At work the next day, Jack keeps finding it difficult to maintain things without speaking, and as he gets a call for a deal, he has to use talking toys in order to reply to the conversation with one-word answers like yes, no, right, and so on. With the toys speaking foul languages at a point, Don Parker seeks to call the deal off. But just then, Jack, using his toys to speak, makes the client approve his desired amount and they both strike a deal. Later on, Caroline complains about her baby's teething and Jack's awkward attitude to her friend, Lila. Lila then offers her a present in a bag that will be a source of happiness for her. Afterward, Jack walks into a hotel and collects a room card from the receptionist and heads to the room. On getting to the room, he sees a fat man trying to tempt him and he angrily leaves to get the correct card from the receptionist. As he enters the room, he sees Caroline in lingerie calling out to him, telling him she wants to do things with him while they make out. She says she wants him to talk dirty to her. She seems so serious about him saying what he wants and how much he loves her, but because of his inability to talk even though he wants to, she sends him out of the room in anger, unclothed. He tries to tell her about the tree, but she sees it as a midlife crisis happening to him, making her even more pissed. As he leaves with embarrassment, Aaron puts a call through to him, telling him of a deal that's being closed with Random House, which he has to be in attendance, because someone is bringing a copy of Dr. Sinja's book. Back at the house, the tree is being sprayed by the keepers. This affects him likewise in his meeting, and he starts to cough uncontrollably, distracting the course of the meeting. He gets intoxicated from the effects of the spray and starts to behave drunk, laughing at almost everything. Soon enough, he starts to eat the chopsticks on the table and they begin to get suspicious of him. Just then, a young female worker arrives with Dr. Sinja's 5-page book. This gets the clients angry, as they leave the meeting, saying they will get in touch later. Samantha confronts him about his behavior and not telling her beforehand about the book, to which he still says nothing. This displeases Samantha as she fires him. At the house, Jack explains to Aaron his predicament, using illustrations on a blackboard. Aaron finally gets it after many trials. Jack then takes him to the tree and shows him proof, which he finds crazy. Later on, Jack decides to go round the town as an angel, helping people with their needs to see if the leaves will stop falling off the tree. This doesn't work either. The next morning, he sits under the tree, meditating. His mind flashbacks to when he was a little boy and his thoughts of his father while he was a boy. Jack later meets Dr. Sinja at a restaurant later that day. Jack tells him of the misfortunes he has encountered since the growth of the tree in his yard. Dr. Sinja offers Jack an advice, which is to find peace within, getting quiet in his mind, and that is how he is going to find the truth. Dr. Sinja tells him to start acting more than talking, especially in loving his wife. In the next scene, Jack gets home drunk that night, with Aaron at home. Jack seems very frustrated and resolves to play music and lip-sync the lyrics all through, not minding the effects of him talking. Aaron tries to stop him but he doesn't budge. Aaron later knocks him down and closes his mouth with duct tape to prevent him from talking. The next morning, Jack wakes up to find very few leaves on the tree. He then speaks to the tree with his inner voice as he waters the tree. Just then, Emily from the nursing home calls him about his mother, saying his mother wants to see Raymond, as it's her birthday. In the next scene, Jack visits Caroline and their baby, promising her of living with them till eternity. He then leaves off to the coffee shop and gives the attendant the official first press of the White Album, for him to keep. Later that day, he gives the errand boy at work a check of $10,000 gotten from selling out the errand boy's book. He also leaves off to the waterside at a beach just to pass time and memories of his life. He then visits his mother. She speaks about Jack to him, thinking Jack was Raymond, talking about how much Raymond should let Jack know he loves him. Jack then goes to visit his dad's graveyard to tell him that he forgives him. These are his last words, causing the last 3 leaves on the tree to fall off. This causes him to slump on the floor, as it rains and lightning strikes. Jack seems to have passed away, but a call from Aaron wakes him up, telling him that the tree has produced more leaves than before. Days after that, Dr. Sinja congratulates Jack for writing a new book. Aaron, now, is the occupant of Jack's former position and office at the workplace. Aaron offers to sell the book to Jack. After this, Jack takes Caroline to her dream house and tells her that he's bought it for them at last. Just then, their little child says his first word, boom. Thanks for watching, guys.